Welcome the founder and CEO of the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum right here in Nashville, Joe Chambers. And the man who has played with practically every star in music, the legendary guitarist on countless classics by Elvis, John Denver, and Ricky Nelson. Would you please welcome Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, one of the legends of the guitar, James Burton. Welcome, both of you. I'm excited to have both of you here. James, you know, I am in awe of your talent. You have played with everyone. Everyone that does an album or recording would love to have James Burton play on it. But you just keep going. You've played, I mean, you couldn't tell us how many people you played with.
Oh, it's unbelievable, really. I'm so honored, and it's a blessing from God, you know, to put me in the places, the right place with the right artists.
When did you want to start playing the guitar?
Actually, when I was maybe 3 years old.
3 years old. But you developed a style of guitar playing that very few people have ever been able to emulate. It's called chicken picking.
You know, I actually started playing when I was 12, 13.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad bought me my first Telecaster guitar, Fender.
I'd say they did all right buying you that, you know?
Sure did.
Did they ever say, now, James, it's okay to play this thing, but you can't make a living at it?
No, my mother said, you can't go to California.
That was a very smart mama. Very, very wise mama. But when you started playing with Elvis Presley, I mean, we've all heard the Elvis albums where he turns in the middle of the instrumental and he says, play it, James, that's you. I mean, it's got to be cool to think that Elvis Presley is turning to you to turn the song over to you.
Well, when he says, play it, James, I gotta do something.
Joe, the Musicians Hall of Fame here in Nashville is honestly one of my very favorite places in the country. I tell people if they come to Nashville, lots of things to see and do, but if they don't come to the Musicians Hall of Fame, they will have missed one of the truly amazing places in this city, in this country.
You tell the truth.
It's the truth. We had a feature down there. You created that just out of your own desire, but why?
I don't know. I just, you know, I'm a baby boomer in the perfect definition of it, born in '54. And I just feel like I grew up listening to James and Elvis. That was my first, I remember singing Hound Dog on my grandparents' front porch down in South Georgia, and I liked the attention, so I had a band from I was 14 on, and then I came to Nashville in pursuit of a deal, and ended up meeting my lifelong friend Billy Sherrill, who was the president of CBS. He produced Tammy and George Jones and Charlie Rich, everybody, and so I flipped from rock and roll, wanting to be a rock star 120 pounds ago, to being a songwriter. So I wrote country songs for a while, and then I had my guitar shops. But while I was songwriting, that's when I learned about the studio musicians, people like James. James is inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame, the very first induction.
That makes sense. You've brought some guitars, and you know, they're out here for a purpose. Tell us about the guitars that are on the front of the stage.
Well, two of them James brought, which is what he was just talking about. The one, I think, the second one from the right was the one his parents bought him. He painted it red, but it was originally white. And if you see the back of it, you see he sanded the paint off of it, and then he quit, you know. I think the first one, is that not your signature?
My signature model.
Yeah, signature model. And then next to it is the famous Paisley Telly that, and you really ought to tell him about what, he was scared to play that in front of Elvis because he thought it looked a little unmanly because of the Paisley look.
Well, you know, when we opened Las Vegas in '69, I played the one Mother and Dad bought me for the first 2 weeks. I was afraid to take the pink Paisley out because I was afraid what Elvis might say, something like.
So when you finally brought it out, did he like it?
He loved it.
I mean, a guy that has about pink Cadillac, you know, surely would like a pink guitar.
I told him I'd trade it for a pink Cadillac. No, but he, you know, we did 2 shows that night, and he saw the guitar, but he didn't say anything until later that night. He called me down to his dressing room, and he said, I noticed you're playing a different guitar tonight. And I said, yeah, I was a little nervous about bringing it out on stage. And he said, no, I love it. It looks great. Play it all you want. So,
That's great. Now, you got one by B.B. King, then one by Johnny Cash, Tom Petty, and the one on the end. That's pretty cool.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. It blew my mind that you had a guitar that was played by Jimi Hendrix. Terry Blackwood and his vocal group, the Imperials, gave rich, intricate harmonies to Elvis's soulful singing voice. And James Burton served as the king of rock and roll's guitar player, as well as the leader of the TCB band, TCB standing for Taking Care of Business, Elvis's trademark thought. I want you to welcome Terry Blackwood and James Burton.
thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Hey, I've been so excited. I cannot tell you, to have you guys on the show. And James, one of the things that I know about you is that the great guitar players of the world, whether it's Eric Clapton or Keith Richards or, any of the great guitar players, if someone asked them, who's your role model? Who is it that you think is a great guitar player? Every one of them named James Burton.
Wow.
Yep.
They do.
I'm honored.
They all do. You've got to feel good about that.
Fantastic.
All right, let's talk Elvis. You got a call from Elvis Presley back, 1968, and he said, put a band together, we're going to go put a show?
He called me in '68 for the comeback special. I was not available for that. So he called me back in 1969 and asked me if I'd put a band together. He got tired of doing movies, and he wanted to go back and play to a live audience. And I told him, I assured him, no problem. We'll put a band together. And he became my rhythm guitar player, so that was great.
Was Elvis that person that we want him to be? Kind of like that generous, kind, caring individual? Was that who he really was off stage?
He was a very kind man, caring, very generous, and just a wonderful, good Christian boy. Working with him, it was not like a boss. He was just like a brother.
Terry, why do you think he was so just magnetized by gospel music? Of all the forms of music, it seemed that genuinely was the one that he most gravitated to.
As a matter of fact, when he was on his third visit to the Ed Sullivan Show, he had been told to sing his latest hit. But before he left Memphis, his mother said, Elvis, I wish you would sing a gospel song on this show. So he got to New York, and the producers had the hit song ready for him to rehearse with the band. He said, no, guys. He said, I promised my mother I was going to sing a gospel song, and I'm going to. So we did, what was the song? Peace in the Valley.
Peace in the Valley.
Yeah, Peace in the Valley.
And he
That's
actually did that on Ed Sullivan.
He did that on the Ed Sullivan Show.
And saved the relationship with his mother, which is a smart thing to do, Elvis.
Very smart thing
to do. You know, I don't think people, if they're not guitar players, may not fully appreciate that the level of skill that you bring to the stage is truly legendary. And there are people who, through the years have said, oh, there's some great guitar players, Chet Atkins and different ones, and they're phenomenal. But you are that guy that was the go-to guy. And when I think of all the different ways that your efforts have been made, one of the things that still amazed me, you were the guy that when Elvis was playing, he turned around and said, take it, James. And you're the James that he's saying, take it to.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
I mean, you got to watch that video sometimes and just say, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and sometimes he would try to throw a little curve on us. One night, he came over to me. He would introduce us, and we'd all have a little playoff thing. And then he came back after I played. He came back and he said, "Play the guitar behind your back." So he wanted to do Johnny B. Good, and I put the guitar behind my back and played Johnny B. Good.
I think Elvis's death is sort of like the death of JFK or the Challenger explosion. Everybody remembers where they were when they heard the news.
Yeah.
Where were you when you heard that Elvis had died? Because it was so much of a shock and unexpected.
Well, the morning of August 16th, I flew to Las Vegas to pick up the other band members, Joe Gershio and the singers. And then we left Las Vegas to fly to Portland, Maine, the first show on August 16th. And so when we left Las Vegas, about maybe 45 minutes in the air, they called and said return to Vegas. And I couldn't figure out. I thought maybe his dad was having problems with his heart, and which he had heart problems, and why would Elvis cancel the tour? So anyway, when we stopped in Pueblo, Colorado to refuel, and the pilot, they wouldn't tell the pilot what was going on. So Marty Harrell, the trombone player from Vegas, said, James, I'm gonna go make a phone call and see if I can find out what's going on. And he went and made a call, and he came back. I was gonna go make a call, and I met him halfway back, and he had tears in his eyes, and he put his arms around me, and he said, Elvis passed away. I mean, shock. I said, is this a joke? He said, no, it's for real. So it was a long flight back to Vegas, and I went back to my home in Burbank and got on the phone and got a flight to Memphis. And it was a very sad day.
Great loss for the entertainment world and really for all of us who loved his music.
Yeah.
Just a delight to have you guys here. Well, tonight's musical guest was already a legendary guitarist who'd worked with everyone from Ricky Nelson to Frank Sinatra. And then he got a phone call from a guy named Elvis Presley back in 1969. Elvis was making a huge comeback, and he wanted the greatest guitar player in the world to help him form a Vegas band for that comeback. My next guest played with Elvis Presley for the rest of Elvis's life. It is a true honor to welcome back Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, one of the most celebrated guitarists of all time, James Burton. James, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
You know, when I watch video of the Las Vegas gigs and the special from Hawaii and all, I mean, I'm always looking at him, that's James Burton, and I know this guy, and he's still on the stage with Elvis night after night after night. When he first called you and said he wanted you to help put that band together, did you think somebody was pranking you at first?
Well, I was real busy in all the studios, and I had to make a decision. I said, I don't know if I have time to go do this full-time gig.
Yeah. Well, it kind of worked out that you did.
It worked out. He was such a great guy to work with and a great entertainer.
One of the things that maybe people don't understand, when people went to work for Elvis, they usually stayed. He did not have a revolving door. People stayed with Elvis. Why?
But he called me and asked me to put a band together, and I had to think about it. But the more I thought about it, I said, you know, I think I'd like to do that. So when we started playing Vegas, full time.
He took good care of the people who worked with him, didn't he?
He did, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the great legacies of Elvis, that he, you know, we were talking about Mr. Lansky earlier, but that was one of the characteristics everyone has said about Elvis. He respected people. He treated them well.
He was a good Christian boy and a great guy to work with. You got along so good with him. It was fantastic.
And James, I'm being careful because I know you came tonight with some laryngitis and I don't want to push it, but...
Yeah, I was looking so forward to tonight, and I got here and I couldn't speak.
Well, you know, you speak with your guitar louder than anybody else in America ever has. If you never said another word, all you got to do is pick up that Telecaster and let it loose. Now, we also have a whole bunch of guitars here on the stage, and you know, that's another part of what you do is make guitars available for kids across America. Why is that such a big deal to you?
I just want to help the kids continue our music legacy, and I just think such a small thing for a great joy, and I just love doing that. It's and we're doing these guitars, I believe, for the veterans,
and
the Vanderbilt veterans.
And your foundation, the James Burton Foundation, makes those guitars available. I think some of these that we have here tonight are going to end up with veterans at Vanderbilt Hospital. And what a great gift that is to those who have served our country to put music in their hands. Okay, so where can you find a place that honors great acts and musicians like Stevie Wonder, George Jones, Bob Dylan, Otis Redding, Earth, Wind and Fire, Elvis, Chicago, and Merle Haggard, just to name a few, and I've just named a few. Well, I'll tell you where it is. It's at the place that we're going to take you right here in Nashville. It is the Musicians Hall of Fame. I personally think it is one of the finest and most incredible museums in all of America, and it is one of the coolest places I've ever been. Here is my tour of this fascinating museum and interview with its founder, Joe Chambers. When I think about this place, I mean, I could spend days here because there's so much to see. This is one of the coolest places I've ever seen. You have stuff here that anyone who's grown up with music will have their jaw on the ground. James Jamerson's bass guitar is in this museum. How do you get stuff like that?
I used my kids' inheritance, pretty much so.
Well, it was well worth the expenditure.
Well, I hope they think so.
When the museum started collecting items, was there anything that was the holy grail?
I was a songwriter, and my mentor was Billy Sherrill, who was songwriter of the century for BMI, produced all the big Tammy Wynette, George Jones, Charlie Rich records, so forth. And so Billy would let me hang out in the studio with him, and that's how I got to know the Nashville A-Team players. And there was a guy named Pete Drake who played steel guitar. And Pete, I felt if we got Pete Drake in the museum, he would be the poster child for studio musicians, because Pete played on He Stopped Loving Her Today for George Jones, Stand By Your Man for Tammy Wynette.
One of the things you do in this incredible facility, Joe, is you pay tribute to all the musicians that we've all heard, but many people haven't seen.
Yeah, when we first started, I have to tell you, it was uphill, because a lot of people would come in and they were expecting to see the big singers, and some of them were kind of disappointed, to be honest about it. But now, if you go through, you'll see that we have, Hendrix and Glenn Campbell. But the reason that they're in here is not for being a singer, it's because, like, Glenn Campbell was one of the top session musicians who also happened to be an unbelievable singer.
Phenomenal guitar player that people sometimes didn't even realize about him.
Yes, he played on Strangers in the Night for Frank Sinatra, as well as on so many Beach Boy records.
So how hard is it to get people to let go of those instruments, to put it in a museum that is dedicated to the musicians?
Well, a lot of times, that's the last thing that maybe that family has that may be of value.
Yeah.
Like Lightning Chance's bass that you were talking about that was used on Hank Sr.'s last session. I bought the bass, from Lightning. Lightning's son came in and he's in tears, and he's like, a lot of people when they come in here, they see a bass guitar, but that put food on our table and clothes on my back, And it carries a deep meaning more than just being used on a record, to these people. I mean, it's their connection to their loved one, And they want to make sure that it's going to be done in a respectful way, as well.
Well, let's go take a look around.
All right.
What do you say?
Sounds great.
All right.